Hi guys, happy Sunday. Hope you're doing well. So today, I wanted to talk a bit about Venus retrograde because we just entered this period. So Venus went retrograde today actually, and it's gonna stay retrograde until April 12th. Um, so as you know, I do love astrology and I do research it. I'm not an expert. I don't have a degree in it. It's just like a hobby of mine. I do work with a professional astrologer, but for my astrology spells. But for today's audio, everything is my own research. So I wanted to clarify that. Um, so one of the reasons why I'm making this audio is because some of you have been messaging me and telling me that you heard that Venus is going retrograde and you are kind of scared. Um, First thing I want to say is that planets go retrograde all the time, like all of the planets, all the time. So we will always have a planet in retrograde or a few of them, and that is perfectly normal. So it's nothing to be scared of. So, planets, their transits and everything, they do affect us, but the amount in which they're going to affect us are going to depend, number one, on us because we do have free will. Number two, based on our charts and transits. So one specific retrograde is going to affect some sun signs more or whatever, you know what I'm saying, hopefully. So do not be scared. Another thing I absolutely want to mention is that Venus retrograde is for us a good thing because we're trying to get, for the most part, we're trying to get access back. So, Venus retrograde is not the perfect period to start a new relationship. It's not a perfect period to get married. Having said that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't start a new relationship during a Venus retrograde or that it will fail and end miserably. That is not what I'm saying. What it means is just there's a higher chance that it may not work out. It doesn't mean that absolutely nobody can have a successful start of a successful relationship during a Venus retrograde. Very important to mention. Um, so yes, that's one thing. Another thing is that for us, like I said, it can be very beneficial. Having said that, it doesn't mean that everybody's ex will be back during a Venus retrograde. What it means is that it does tend to kind of bring people from the past. For some people, depending on their charts and transits, and if you're doing spell work, obviously, if it's during Venus retrograde, it will give it some extra power. That is all I'm saying. So be mindful with things you read online and be aware that it's not a rule and not everybody will start an unsuccessful relationship during Venus retrograde. Okay, now I have researched some things that I kind of think are good to mention, some advice for you during this Venus retrograde, and I'm gonna share it now. I have my notes here. So, what I would recommend is to try and avoid some drastic physical changes, just about your physical appearance. I don't think it's the best period to, have plastic surgery or I don't know, get a tattoo even, because this Venus retrograde is actually in the sign of Aries, and Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars rules our body and also sharp objects. So like needles, for example. So I would kind of, if you're planning to do something drastic to your appearance, I would rather have you wait until April 12th, which of course does not mean that you can't do some minor things during this period, or that necessarily it will go bad. It's just an advice that, there is a bigger percentage, a bigger chance for it not turning out the way you want to. Okay, another thing, I wouldn't advise you to buy anything extra expensive or a luxury during this Venus retrograde, like, for example, a car or an apartment, because Venus also rules money. Don't know if you knew that. And when it's in retrograde, it can kind of interfere with just how you kind of perceive it. So again, it's a good advice to wait till April 12th. Okay. Okay, another thing to mention is that during this Venus retrograde, Mercury will also go retrograde. And as you know, it brings some difficulties in communication. Now, advice for that would be to really be mindful when you communicate with people, sorry, and pay attention to how you react and what triggers you, and make sure your reactions, sorry, are appropriate during this period, because you don't want to create some problems where you don't need them, obviously. Okay, now this is like the most important for us. So in this Venus retrograde, we're gonna have involvement of Saturn and also the North Node. So for the next 40 days, we're gonna have a really strong energy of karmic events. So what can happen is that you accidentally run into your ex, or just exes from the past, doesn't have to be the recent one. And this will especially well, no, this will have a higher chance to happen to people that have their sun, moon, Venus, or rising in Pisces. So Pisces is going to be more affected than others. Okay. So also, a good period, like any other period, I would say, is to kind of work on yourself, your self-worth, your values, things like that. Um, but I think that any period is good for that. So I don't think that you should wait for Venus to go retrograde to do it. Okay. Also, some people may kind of find out that your person did not kind of end everything with their ex. And if you do, don't hold so tight on that fact, because it can change any day. Okay. Also, this is a good period to kind of get back into contact with some old friends from the past. So maybe you have some old friends you haven't talked to in a while, and you kind of haven't been, initiating contact because you've been kind of afraid, or are they going to even reply, since, I haven't been in touch for so long. Maybe they have just forgotten about me, they don't want to talk to me. So if you were thinking about, messaging someone like that, this could be a good period to do that. Also, if somebody wants to get back to a previous job position, this is a good period to do that. Or if somebody wants to move somewhere you already lived for a while, this is a good period. And actually, one of the clients is moving back to somewhere they used to live as we speak. So great. Um, So I think that this is everything. Yeah, this is everything I have for you. Advice wise, now again, don't be afraid. Planets go retrograde all the time. Um, don't read, not, don't try not to read all of that pop astrology stuff. It can sometimes be scary, and I do get often messages about it, and people being really scared something horrible is going to happen. um, don't pay so much attention to pop astrology. um, Relax, live your life, yes, planets and transits do affect us, but again, if you read an article about, oh, this planet's going retrograde, this is what it means for you, you have to keep in mind that to give the right analysis of what it can mean for you, they would need to know your exact chart, so your date of birth, your time of birth, your place of birth, everything. And this is just very generalized and usually just very, just it's just written in a way that, it's a clickbait thing. Basically, you're gonna click on it because the title is gonna be something very scary or very, very good, for example, as well. So like I said, yes, planets do affect us, but it's gonna depend in which way. And also, we can always change things, we can always adjust things, we always have free will. So, guys, everything's gonna be okay. Do not be scared of the Venus retrograde. It can bring you actually really great things. Okay. Um, Always look at the positive stuff with everything, like I always tell you. And even the most dark things can bring us the most beautiful things in the end. So that is my message for today. I wish you a wonderful week. I hope you had a great weekend. I love you guys. Bye.